Good evening to all of you. I'm Dr. Anandita Shom and I'll be presenting from India. The topic of my presentation is English language teaching and 21st century skills, skill development through language courses. My presentation is basically based on my experience of teaching in a technical university in India in the last 3 years. So I'd go ahead with my presentation. The national education policy, we in the country we have a national education policy which comes up every few years, and India has been focusing a lot on skilling, upskilling, and reskilling its youth. So it has advocated for the integration of vocational educational programs into mainstream education for all educational institutes. This could be technical as well as non-technical, and a lot of focus has been on shifting the Indian education curriculum courses, which has mainly been very theoretically heavy till now, to practical courses and for internships and making the courses and degrees, be it bachelor's, diploma, certification programs, anything to be market ready, ready for the job market, for employment, because it has been seen that there's a huge skill gap after to what educational degrees or what happens at universities, schools, colleges, and later on when students graduate, you have to retrain and reskill or probably start skilling them from when they join work, or the contemporary skills that are needed in the job market. They are completely different to what has been theoretically taught in all the courses at schools, colleges, and universities. So again, the NEP to 2020 uh, suggests all the courses right from school to higher education to focus on skilling and making all the courses, be it in humanities course to very technical courses, to focus on skill development. Now to move on to English in India. English in India is, in fact, according to British Council India report, a conundrum because despite the value attached to the language, again, children learn it for a lot of years. There's a lot of diversity to how the language is learnt in the country in different places. So, for example, in my own classes, there would be students who would have published papers in English, for probably some creative writing, but there would be students who would also we I have to translate the language in a vernacular language, and we have a lot of languages, and
Um, I think there's a connection problem.
law students as well. But then what happens here is these students have multiple diverse level of English language. We have uh, we start with a pre-test to divide them into two categories, but even then in two of these categories there is huge diversity because their mother tongues are different, and also the amount of English or so the ways in which they have learned the language is very different in different school boards in different states, different districts. This paper is basically a qualitative paper. It's an observation and all the skilling courses that I have been teaching, English language communication courses. And also, I have gone through, I have observed a few of the other technical university courses. More or less, there is overlap in because we follow the uniform syllabus or curriculum that comes from the center in the universities and colleges, at least the English courses. So I've not gone into explaining it in the presentation, but it's just about what I would be teaching because there's overlap of all the topics, again, all the skilling topics to English. Uh, so uh, Before going into the English courses, understanding what is being taught and again what more is required, I would look into the World Economic Forum top skills report. So these are the top skills that are the soft skills, especially that are needed in the workplaces. So problem solving, self management, working with people, technology use and development, analytical thinking and innovation, critical thinking, creativity, originality, leadership and social influence, complex problem solving, reasoning, ideation, resilience, stress tolerance, and flexibility. So I would move to the courses we offer and a few other technical institutes offer through English communications courses. So according to again the center, we have AICTE and UGC rules and all, which are boards which look into the university college education in India. If it is a technical course, again, it could be engineering, it could be management or any other courses. English courses are mandatory. At least for the first year, they have to have 2 to 3 courses and they have to clear. These are core courses with the other probably technical science course, management courses they study. So in the institute I teach, we have 3 levels of it. The students should at least cover 2 levels of English communication courses. So in the basic communication course, they start with understanding how communication works in the organization. It could be the vertical, the horizontal communication, the types of communication, understanding formal, informal, verbal, non-verbal techniques, and online and of course offline communication. So they usually start with introduction. So because these help, moreover, again, these all these English courses are tailored towards making them job ready later on after 3 or 4 years. So again, they start with introductions. How would they introduce themselves or the others? Conversational etiquettes, and then introduction. Then we it's all a mix of LSRW. So again, they would go to writing, understanding the audience purpose, writer content, which medium to use. Then they would move on to very basic business communication, say formal letters, emails, and writing memos. How do you communicate in organizations? Because right after graduation, they start working in MNCs and other offices, startups, and all. So, along with the theoretical courses, they have lab activities as well. Because the theoretical courses are still very theoretical, even though these are skilling courses, a lot of the weightage is still on theoretical teaching, the facilitator explaining a lot, and a lot of passive learning also happens. To counter that, there are lab activities where they practice debate, storytelling, making vlogs, then introductions, and then creating online portfolios. Then they would have posted campaigns across the campus so that they practice a lot of speaking and listening and readings. Because in the theoretical classes, because of the syllabus again is heavily loaded with theories, so there's not much time left after the teacher has taught. So this lab classes are the classes where they get to practice at least for some time whatever theories they have been teaching, they have been learning in the theoretical classes. And the next, if they clear that course, they go to level 2, which is effective communication, where there's a little more difficult. So again, they would be technical presentations, getting them ready for hackathons and all these tech competitions that happen around the country. Again, there would be data visualization, making and interpreting graphs, infographics. Now and they would be giving presentations. One major important part of all these writing and speaking is persuasion and argumentation. They are also being taught again how they would be using critical thinking. Are there, when they present their ideas, service ideas, go to all these competitions, are there any fallacies in the way they present, in the way their ideas work? So logical fallacies are one important part of the component. And of course, we get them ready with the resume and of course the CV and cover letters. Then the next, there's one module on ethical communication, because India being a highly diverse country with everything, so there is of course a lot of diversity with race, gender, religion, politics, and cross-cultural communication. They gain a lot of these technical students work all across the world later on. So again, we teach them. There are a lot of debates that are that take place in the classes, so that we get to know. We again, there is no problem probably in any kind of inappropriate comments that are being passed, or a lot of prejudices are being broken through a lot of activities, and also how to probably maintain ethics and etiquettes in offline and online spaces. The lab activities are the usual ones, like in the basic communication, but to a more difficult level. So they have presentations, poster presentations, and the other things. And so again, if they clear all these courses, if they want, and some for some of the students it's mandatory. So professional communication, this is where the group discussions happen. Again, group discussions, GDs, are something which are more or less mandatory in a lot of management programs in India. So that is the first step towards getting into a very good management course, like the IIMs in India, and some of the good firms across India also, they start with a group discussion and how you perform in it. So we help them practice that in the theories and labs. There's also then they understand this Belbin's 8 team roles, what kind of a team player there are, and their personality traits. Interview skills, this is where we also train them with the interviews and situational questions. So there are certain methods like the STAR method, where how do you answer open-ended questions in interviews. We train them in that, and making portfolios, again technical reports, and getting them these. A lot of students go to foreign countries for their masters and all. So again, we start preparing them for the essays, the SOPs, and internships, how to write for fellowships, travel grants. So this is an absolutely, again, this would be if the student is very well with the basic communication, then, and the effective communication, only then they can go to the professional communication. And the lab activities are again very related to these. There's also one course which is the business communication course, which are majorly given to the management student. It's a core course, and here again, it's a lot of management role content that is being taught to them. The organizational context, how do you work collaboratively, writing reports, cross-cultural communication. Then understanding the writing process, again, which is the right medium. And then there are a lot of business emails, blogging. In this course, we also teach them how to make their LinkedIn profile, how to network. One major important part of it is networking, planning, writing, proofreading, and of course, working on the interviews, cover letters, and persuasive messages. And also they learn also, maybe if they want to start a business on Instagram, what are the kind of content that should be there. So they, even in the lab activities, they practice all these things. They make profiles, online profiles, and they see a few of these students would also have businesses, their own startups, and also then they can keep improving on those startups. So these are just few of the courses that I have taught, and I've brought a few of the content that I feel helps them later on after the 3 or 4 years. And with the assessment, a lot of changes have been going with the assessments, because here, for most of the courses, it's very writing. So you read and you write. So there's a lot of transformation throughout India with how do you assess students in all the courses. So in all these courses, it's still very theoretical, the assessment. There's an end of semester exam that takes place. But with that, because we have been also trying to transforming how we take these assessments and evaluations. So there are internal projects that happen, there are portfolios they make, there is Socratic seminar and debates, mock debates that take place. There are field assignments, presentations, group discussions, mock interviews. So we are trying to balance the final examination with continuous assessment, so that there is, again, the evaluation is not very traditional as it always has been. These are few of the observations. So when again, there are certain drawbacks. Even with the assessments, there are certain drawbacks with especially AI. With these are technical students, very good with technology, so they have started using AI in an elaborative manner. So writing assignments sometimes backfire, because none of it would be their own perspectives or ideas or research. All of it would be from Chat GPT and other places. So it's been a challenge for us as well. If you give them research assignments, writing assignments, even posters, and a lot of other things are very easily available. And sometimes it look as if there is a human aspect to it, but then if you read through it, you understand that okay, this has not been written by the student. So we are still trying to find a way around it. How do you code do, how much of AI should be used in the assessments and evaluation, because it's again stopping a lot of the students to think for themselves. So it's hampering the critical thinking part. At least 50% of these students later on, so this is just for the first year, the next 2 to 3 years, I've seen them do well in conferences and hackathons, use all of the techniques. They are master of ceremonies in a lot of events. They interview people. They have a lot of clubs and chapters running around extracurricular. They would be interviewing faculty members, vlogging around. They have good portfolios, resume ready, and of course, they would be publishing papers and patents. But then there would be, of course, 50% because it's just for the first year and these are core courses. And the courses are still very theoretical. The assessment is still very theoretical. They would just rote learn all of the things and then you'll just go and clear the exams, so even with good CGPAs. And by the end of fourth year, we have seen that we have to reskill the students again with additional classes before they sit for maybe there's a big MNC and they have to sit for an interview. So we again have to retrain them because they did not really the learning again was not long term. Which for 50% students at least I have observed that, but they would be students who would be practicing and the learning would continue for the next 3 years and so on. I quickly move on to the conclusion. Again, this is also similar to a British Council report that English language still provides learners with an opportunity for economic and socio-cultural progress in India. The language is still a language which gives a lot of power, and also it's a language which, because we have multiple languages in the country, so it has come across. It has again evolved into a very functional language. And the courses, so the English language courses are spaces which are very critical to learn the soft skills, especially in the technical institutes in the country. But my observation is also that there is a need for continually transforming not just the syllabi but also the assessment, the teaching learning methodologies, and a lot of other things. Because for 50% of the students, again half of the students, after the first year there is no continual courses throughout all the years, so they go on to their specialized technical courses, and by fourth year, before the interviews, you have to again retrain them with the same things, same concepts. So there's a need to transform it, need to continually keep training them throughout the 4 years, so that you don't have to again probably again they don't have to sit for the same classes while they are graduating. So there's a need again, and there's a lot of need for empirical and practical aspect. It's still very theoretical even in technical institutes, so there's a need, and also to keep up with what's happening in the job market outside. So that's about it. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. This is all I have.
Thank you very much. Thank you. If you have any questions, this is the time to ask. Thank you.